Hey everyone, this is Steve with Collider. I am here in Park City at our Sundance studio with the lovely folks behind Suncoast. And I have a lot of questions for you guys, but before we get started, the only reason we get to be here at Sundance, being able to promote movies and independent cinema, is because we have Film EO as our sponsor. I really want to give them a huge thank you for allowing us to be here. And if you're not familiar with Film EO, they're shattering the barriers by placing the power to greenlight films in the hands of creators and fans, and you can learn a lot more about them by visiting their website at film.io. How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I've learned a lot about your cast. We've talked about airlines, airline miles, what they're working on, a lot of stuff. But listen, first of all, congratulations on your first feature.
Thank you so much.
So most people will not have seen most people watching this right now will not have seen the movie yet. Okay. So how have you been describing it to friends and family?
I think it's a drama with a lot of lightness and comedy in it. It's about a teenage girl who's coming of age in an environment that's unique to someone that is 17. Her brother is in hospice. He has a few months left to live, and he happens to be at the same hospice as a woman named Terry Schiavo, who had a very big national politicized case in Florida in 2005, where I happened to be at hospice with my brother in 2005 at the same hospice as Terry Schiavo. So it's based on that, but there's also a lot of invented details about this sort of Cinderella journey that this girl is going on. She's making friends for the first time, who are these lovely kids. I mean, adults, they're adults, but they're kids to me. But these lovely people, and so this is where a lot of like the joy and the light and the heart comes from, is that this 17-year-old girl is, getting a crush for the first time and being accepted for the first time and going out and partying in nightclubs for the first time, while also dealing with this very serious thing at home.
So one of the things that I commend you on is that it's very hard. You have limited screen time with the friends, and all of you guys feel like very individual characters that all got to shine. So can you sort of talk about making sure you have giving everyone those moments? And for you guys, talk a little bit about the reaction reading the script for the first time and what you thought of it and your emotional connection.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was important to me that they weren't just, a stereotypical teen blob. I wanted everybody to have a different point of view. And I really wanted them to be sort of more protectors of Doris than what you might normally see them being mean or judgmental. I think that for the most part, they're very like protective and welcoming to her. And that was important to me.
Yeah, when I first read the script, I fell in love. Nothing came. I read it and I understood who Lacey was within like the first scene that I got in the audition process. And I just think that, you wrote just these characters so incredibly well that it really took no work to, bring it to life at all.
Yeah, I mean, when I first read the script, of course, I cried like a baby. And it's just wild that these words can have so much power when they're just these little black like thingies on a white, and it makes you bawl. And then you're in your room after and you're like, So, yeah. But I think also every time I read one of my characters' lines, Brittany, I was like, wow, I know this girl who's just like this, and I know this girl who would say this, and I almost was like audibly speaking my lines out before even having the role. It was just so realistic and yet so poignant and funny.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think what Laura does so well is she writes characters that are real and human, and everybody has a little bit of good in them and a little bit of bad, and there's not a single protagonist or antagonist. They all have such layers and dimension. And I think even with my character, Megan, like she's maybe like the meanest to Doris, but it's not coming from a place of just being stereotypically mean. Like with her, it's coming from insecurity and she feels bad about herself. And it's like, she has layers to her. It's not the stereotypical mean girl. She's deeper than that. And I think all of them are deeper than that. I think it's hard to do when you have such a big cast, but Laura did it so perfectly, gave every single person such a beautiful story, which as an actor, I'm so appreciative of.
Yeah. For me, when I first read the script, I was actually with my mom and my dad. We were at, I think, some rooftop like restaurant or something like that. And I was reading through it and I was like, wow. Like I was talking to my parents, just telling them like, I kind of talk a little bit like this, and it just seems like this character it's not exactly who I am, but I also, like you said, Ella, like I know people that are like this, but then also I felt so comfortable with the role. And that's, for me personally, that's not really too easy to do. Like, it didn't feel like a character, it felt like a person that I was playing, which I love.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you did such a great job with is the way Laura plays essentially your quote unquote mom, not really, but you know what I mean. But she has to, she's both difficult and loving, and she doesn't, you know what I mean? You get frustrated with her, but you understand where she's coming from. So can you sort of talk about writing the role and also Laura's performance, because she really threads that needle?
She's incredible. Laura is so incredible. Laura is just this rare breed, this person who can do this thing that, she's saying things that are kind of hard to hear. She's behaving in a way that you're like, oh, just be nicer to your daughter. But at the same time, there's so much humanity just pouring out of her face. You just love her, and you see where this woman's coming from. She's losing her son. Like these are very real emotions, and the way that anyone would be. The character's not my mother. I mean, my mom and I had a totally different journey and story. But it was in an effort to capture a lot of the emotions I felt as a teenager who is not getting the same amount of attention as the sick kid. Who's being forgotten and feeling like that. And how to capture 6 years of illness with my brother into like an hour and a half movie. And so that was where Christine came, and she's sort of this powerhouse in a way to capture all those emotions. But she's amazing. I mean, the whole cast, like with these kids too, like there was only one. We auditioned tons of people, and then you're just like, that is Brittany and that is Megan. Like there was no deciding, so with every one of these roles, it's like, it felt like everybody put on this second skin and became these people in a way that was so rewarding and magical.
So this is for all of you guys. You obviously have a limited shooting schedule. You know what's in front of you. You see the shooting schedule. What is the day you have in your brain circled in terms of, I am so excited to film this, or, oh my God, I am so nervous to film this?
That's a great
That's
question.
a wonderful question.
Actually, the one, go Ellen.
You do it.
The club scene. I was
Yes.
I'm underage. So I was like, yeah, we're going to be in the club. No, not actually.
Well, she was 17. You were 17.
Yeah, I was 17.
Yeah, very, very underage.
Very. Whoa.
Well, I just mean not 21. I mean, like 21 is like so far from 21, 17.
And of course, like I was actually, a fake sneaking into the club and with the bouncer, and I got the whole experience, which was really fun. I won't ever be doing that again.
Sure.
Yeah. So, so that was, I just remember looking forward to it, and I remember the outfit was crazy, and yet I was still really excited to wear it. So what about you guys?
I don't know. I looked forward to every single day. I've never felt such peace on set. Laura had made the space incredibly comfortable, and just made you feel very confident in your choices and what you were doing. And I've just really, I've worked with amazing people, but I've just really never felt so comforted and accepted, and it was just an incredible feeling. And I loved going to set every single day, because I would come back to the house afterwards, and I'd just be like, I really didn't. I was just there, and I was just having fun, and and usually I'm like in my head about none of that, and it felt great.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I would say I was most excited and a little bit nervous about the party scene that you'll see, where we're all like playing Jenga, playing different games, and doing maybe certain things that we probably shouldn't be doing. Like that was a lot. I was nervous for it. Like, certain things, certain clothes might be off. You never know. You gotta see the movie to see. But yeah, it was funny though. But it was very, very fun. I remember I was talking to my mom and my dad about it, and I was like, "Yo, guess what? I gotta film like this day." And they were like, "What?" So yeah.
That's such a good question. I have no idea. I really loved the sleepover scene with the girls. I think that was just such a sweet scene. We had so much fun. Like we were sitting down, we had actual popcorn and M&Ms and snacks
and ice cream.
Yes.
It was really fun.
It was so fun. We were in pajamas. They were in their pajamas. It was like, I was like, you guys know we're still working, right?
Yeah. It never felt like work. It was like, we all love each other so much. And we would just sit, and that day I remember, I loved it so much.
It was like we were just giggling in between takes, having the best time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For as a director,
looked forward to
Or
the most?
the thing that you were really excited to film, or the thing you were really nervous to film?
Gosh, I mean, every day I was really excited and really nervous. I feel like I know the ending scenes are very emotional, and so those were scenes that we really, as a whole crew and cast and everybody, we were like, we're not talking about those scenes. We're not putting pressure on those scenes. We're not going to talk about what goes on in those scenes. We're just going to let those scenes unfold. And it was a really sacred space that our first AD held, that everybody held. We did, private rehearsals, just me and the actors, really tried to keep it organic and not feeling like, oh, you have to have this emotional reaction in order to succeed today. It was really important that was not placed on, especially young Nico. And she's just such a organic, natural talent. And what pours out of her is lightning in a bottle, and so it was all about making sure that she was so safe and protected. And those were definitely scenes we waited till the very end of the schedule, so everyone was as comfortable as they possibly could be with each other. And you really see it when Laura and Nico in that final scene together. You really see this that to me was the most important scene of the movie, when they rejoin. And that was definitely one that I was like, okay, we circled this is a sacred space.
So I love talking about the editing process because it's where it all comes together. So for you get in the editing room. What were some of the surprises that happened that you didn't expect going in?
Our editor, okay, so Sarah Shaw, and shout out to her. She's not at Sundance. She wants to be. She's an angel and a genius. And she's amazing. We spent, such a long time in post together, and we had this luxury, and Searchlight was so supportive, and that we really got to experiment with things and play. And, we removed some scenes that I really loved, individually, loved those scenes. But I think when you looked at the whole thing as a whole, it was affecting different arcs and pulling, maybe watering something down that didn't need to be. So that was surprising to me, the amount of scenes that we pulled out of the movie and how much that strengthened the movie. But I mean, Sarah and I just got so creative. Someday we'll show the 2.5 hour editor's assembly of this movie. It's very different. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, with something like that, with and people that don't realize, an assembly cut is where you put everything in. But with that 2.5 hour version, was that a version you were happy with, or you're like, oh no?
So what's funny is they call it the suicide cut, right? They're like, you're going to watch this and you are going to want to end it all, right? That's what every director told me. They were like, you're going to watch the editor's assembly and you're going to want to move to a different country and quit the business. And I was very prepared, and so I was I saw the runtime and I was like, oh, 2 hours and 35 minutes. This is the Titanic, or Titanic, no the. And I was this is a long movie. And but I sat down and I watched the whole thing, and I really was it's there, I was never oh no, what is this? It's there. I mean, the performances were all there. Everything, it was so clear that it just stuff needed to come out. But I never felt hopeless or sad or depressed. I was very heartened by the editor's assembly.
So I like throwing a curveball every once in a while, and here's the curveball question. And for all of you, because you're also an actor, if someone has never seen someone has never seen anything you've done before, what is the thing you'd like them watching first, and why? And it could be this film, but it could be something else.
Suncoast.
Yeah, Suncoast. 1,000%.
Suncoast.
Yeah.
I'm not in it, but Suncoast.
So very good, and you will just not regret the time you spend watching.
I definitely want to touch on the fact that you guys are at Sundance, but you're also going to be in theaters and you're going to be on Hulu pretty soon. What is this like for you guys? Because I'm sure when you were making it, you're you never know what's going to happen. It could go anywhere, or it could just not ever come out. So what is it like to be premiering at Sundance and going to theaters and being on Hulu and this whole whirlwind?
I'm in a total dream. I don't know about
same.
y'all. I'm in a dream.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not here.
I mean, it's really been an out of body experience. I mean, I feel like every single person who worked on this movie gave their whole selves to it. Truly, I mean, it was such a collaborative experience, and everyone just busted their ass and cared so much about telling the story. So the fact that people are going to get to see it, and that all those 100+ people, their hard work and blood, sweat, and tears is going to be viewed by audiences is so exciting and so amazing. And going to be in theaters, I think this movie on a big screen is such an experience. SD time, our composer with her partner Chris Stracy, the music that is in this movie is incredible. And when you see it in a theater, and when you see these kids and the humor and the colors of Florida and the emotional ending and Nico Parker's genius and Laura Linney and Woody Harrelson, like it just feels like a movie theater movie, you know?
Sure.
And so I'm so thrilled that people are going to get a chance to see it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anyone wants to add anything.
No, yeah, it does feel like a dream. It
It's
really
a
does.
dream.
I have really big reactions, and I screamed when my team told me
Me
that I
too.
got in. I was like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, it's such an like it's a huge thing. Like this is huge, and it's such an honor just to be a part of it.
Yep.
I have to wrap with you guys, but just real quick, for soon-to-be fans of the film, what do you think they would be surprised to learn about the making of this movie?
Y'all got anything?
Well, we
lived through a
didn't
hurricane.
actually film it in 2005. I don't know. But yeah, also we lived through a
lived through a
hurricane.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh,
we
yeah.
filmed in Charleston.
We filmed in Charleston, yeah. And
During
which hurricane was it?
Hurricane
Ian.
I'll never
Yes.
forget you, Ian.
And we
yeah,
literally
we had to evacuate to like a hotel.
we all went to
Yeah.
a hotel together, and we lived in the same building for a few days, and we would like come downstairs and meet up and play card games and like so many games, and it was just, that was also like I hate hurricanes, but it was a bonding experience for
It
us
was,
also,
yeah.
and to like go through that together. But yeah, we lived through a hurricane.
That's actually a good behind the scenes fact. On that note, for everyone watching, obviously, I really recommend for everyone checking this film out. And thank you so much for coming in. And I also want to give a huge thank you one more time to Filmio for being our sponsor, because it's allowing us to be here at Sundance. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
And
us.
have a great Sundance.
Thank you.
Thank you.